Ship out of danger.
Gotta admit, Spock's sacrifice is one of the most badass moments of badassery ever badassed, and we will remove 5 sins for it.
His was the most human.
Goddamn, this scene gets me every time. 2 sins off for real emotions in a Star Trek movie.
Get to the vault!
So, why can't more action scenes be like this? Why are we settling for the mega cut-a-thon of the comic book action scenes? This is better than anything any of those movies has done in years. For that, we will remove a sin. God damn, the cinematography is outstanding in this movie. Yet another amazing action scene that I wish I could see more of in more movies. Also, I realize this is all ridiculous, but even a second-string Pixar movie is pretty good. -1 sin for the genuinely amusing murder mural. Holy shit, what's wrong with us? We will remove 5 sins because we're total assholes for tackling this movie. This movie is spectacular when it comes to suspense. I mean, virtually nothing of note happens in this scene, but the sin counter refused to poke me with a stick like it usually does when it's time to write something. It's setting things up for later, it's masterfully done, and it's why we love the movie. Still though, one of the best sci-fi horror movies of all time, so... This is iconic as shit, and even better, the cast didn't know what was going to happen either. Me, this is great. I just have no choice.
You ever wonder how your mom and me got to be so darn happy?
Nope.
1 sin removed for causing legit laughter in me before the 4-minute mark.
I'm gonna walk by you. I want you to move along the far wall to your left. In 4, 3, 2, 1.
Gotta say, this scene where Bourne talks the reporter through this train station is amazeballs, and for that we will remove 3 sins. Gotta say, this fight is pretty exhilarating even though it's got a lot of cuts in it. It's well lit, in tight quarters, and it's intense. Gotta remove a sin for this, right? Bruce Wayne alone running into the fray while everyone else panics? Yeah, even in a movie this shitty, I'm duty-bound to remove sins for something so badass. Hot damn, this is f***ing Batman. I'm removing 3 sins for this movie understanding Batman action better than any previous, even though that's not nearly close enough to save this film's final sin total. This makes way more sense in the Ultimate Edition. Batman's been branding lots of criminals, whereas in the theatrical release he branded 1 guy, and everybody decided to jump to conclusions that the Bat brand was a death sentence in prison, so we'll take a sin off because of this version, but the theatrical version still is clearly bullshit when it comes to this.
The inside of the chair was lined with lead.
We didn't sin the fact that Soups didn't see the bomb in the first go-around, but since this edition finally actually explains something helpful, I'll remove 1 sin.
I don't deserve you, Alfred.
No, sir, you don't.
This version touches more on the romantic relationship between Bruce and Alfred, an area where no other Batman movie has dared to tread, removing 1 sin for the obvious homosexual relationship that this movie makes no big deal about, the way it should be. Oh this explains Lex Luthor's he is hungry moment. Well, we'll remove a sin, I guess. Why the did they cut this?
They said it's all taken care of.
By whom?
Anonymous donor.
Bruce paid for the funeral. Pretty badass. This movie outdoes the look of the first movie, which was already amazing. So amazing, I'll take off a few sins for it. I'd just like to point out that we're nearly 7 full minutes into this movie, and there's been basically 0 dialogue, yet I, as a viewer, am fully engaged. Bravo, movie. 1 sin off. This shot of David in the background while the body in the foreground gets bloodier by the second. This is some masterful shit. Between The Sixth Sense and this movie, I'm actually not surprised M. Night keeps getting work, despite his failures. This here is some brilliant stuff, man. The father-son bonding, superpower discovering weightlifting scene is so good. Have I mentioned how brilliant M. Night's eye was early on in his career? Gotta remove a sin for James Newton Howard's score, which is awesome. Jesus, this is good Shyamalan. Great Shyamalan. What happened to this guy? I mean, he does some things in this movie that are kind of cheesy and calls attention to himself, but he always gave the story, the characters, and the emotional weight a lot of regard as well. I'm removing 3 sins for this movie on the whole, which is great. And can we get a damn Unbreakable 2 already? We got 2 Ghost Riders.
Freeze! Are you out of your damn mind?
I guess we don't mind being hated. Orson Welles in 1941 is about to pan a camera through a neon sign and down into a rain-soaked sunroof window, and my mind is goddamn blown. It's certainly more than your average Hollywood movie does these days. We'll remove a sin for innovation. While this guy bitches about not getting enough money for young Charles, we can clearly see young Charles outside playing, not a care in the world, and this is praiseworthy character development direction even today.
With a daily paper that will tell all the news honestly.
Scenes like this were made to destroy CinemaSins because we're just that arrogant. This lighting is impossible, but the fact that our protagonist is saying something completely dishonest, but seems to believe what he's saying while draped in shadow is something I could callously give a sin for, or I could just remove a sin, so I will. Even though Leland's memory is total bullshit, and there's no way he knew all this stuff, you gotta love the way Welles does this scene of a crumbling marriage, even showing his wife reading the rival newspaper. It's worthy of at least 1 sin off. This is more camera greatness. They cut holes in the floor. Imagine that. We'll remove 3 sins for not only the camera work, but the scene itself. However, Jesus, that shot is pure brilliance. It's good for at least a couple sins off. Okay, I don't love this movie as a whole, but this playful bare necessities float down the river scene is fun and touching, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a sin off. Just one though, let's not get crazy here.
The princess here was just...
Okay, despite the fact that we're being total assholes to this movie, that shit's funny right there. Removing a sin. However implausible this sequence is, I'm gonna remove a sin for Black Panther being a badass. Okay, if we have to remove 3 sins for this, I guess we will. Sin counter will not be happy.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude!
Thank God they got a great actor. Got Spidey just right, even if he was an add-on. Paul Rudd is such a goddamn national treasure and a welcome bit of levity in this movie that I'm removing a sin for his awesomeness. Even though Nick lands on the get married block, he lets Margot spin and doesn't take the honeymoon spin, the rules dictate, because he doesn't know how to play the game of life. Wait, maybe that's an extremely subtle metaphor. God damn it, -1 sin. This is a nifty little shot here, where we pan up with Mom into the hall window and through it into the bedroom, then follow the daughter back out into the hall. My only issue is that nothing in the story or script of this movie comes close to matching the creativity displayed here in this shot. This shot is above this movie. Actually, for being such a well-shot movie overall, we'll remove a sin. God damn it, Christopher McQuarrie, you make movies hard to sin sometimes. This shot is awesome. The opening of this movie nearly 8 minutes without a single word spoken. And even better, no narration. First off, let me remove 3 sins before I start being an asshole about this scene. I want to make fun of her 9-year-old running ability here, because it's hilarious, but then she opens the medicine cabinet, revealing this is a glorious shot where I can't see the camera, even though I should be able to, and ultimately I'm just going to take a sin off here.
They still want an American to go, Doctor. Want to take a ride?
Holy shit, that want to take a ride is so perfectly insane in this delivery, I'm taking a sin off.
I hear her. Barely, but she's there.
Okay to go.
She says she's okay to go.
I'm removing another sin because even though this has taken 8 minutes, I'm totally riveted. The music by Alan Silvestri, the suspense Zemeckis creates, it's awesome.
My father tried to teach me human emotions. They are difficult.
I'm going to choose this moment here among many to praise Alan Tudyk for his performance in this film as the robot, and we'll take 2 sins off a movie I know will go on to earn enough for that 2 sin reduction to not affect the ultimate score, but still show respect for an actor who is great. Gotta hand it to this movie for an ending that makes you think it was all a dream, then pulls back and makes you realize it's not only real, but it's got a pretty poetic kind of ending. They're all just in that snow globe forever and ever. I like that ending. It's not happy. Okay, props and respect to this movie for giving us fun visuals underneath much of the end credits. Something not enough movies do. 1 sin removed.
My son was just a boy. Not like you. Where was your honor?
Jaimon doesn't know he's in the movie, so he just keeps acting the out of his scenes. 1 sin off. This angry alien attacking Kirk but turning out to be super tiny? Yeah, that's one of the biggest laughs in all of 2016 cinema. And I'm taking off 2 sins for it, because did you see that? That's f***ing hilarious. Current modern Star Trek series actually handles real-life Leonard Nimoy's death with restraint and grace. Another sin off.
And you are Montgomery Scott.
Hi, Scotty.
Come now, Montgomery Scotty.
Jayla is exactly the breath of fresh air this Star Trek series needed, and I'm taking a sin off for her awesomeness.
But its unique signature makes it very easy to identify.
You gave your girlfriend a tracking device.
That was not my intention.
One of the best laughs I've had in a long time. 1 sin off. This face, Sulu had no idea that would work, and he's simultaneously impressed and mystified, and that is worth a sin off. That said, damn, I just love that this is the way they're gonna kill these things. It's inventive and smart, and I've gotta hand it to them for this scene. Removing a sin. I gotta admit, this sped-up Enterprise construction footage is kind of awesome, and is definitely new and unique, so what the hell, I'll take another sin off. I would make fun of Andy setting up all his toys to watch a movie, but then I remember laying out all my baseball cards as a kid while watching a baseball game, and I'd sub in the right card when the manager made a roster change, and goddamn, I miss being a kid. F*** you, movie, for making me miss being a kid. Disney utterly breaks my sin-writing brain with a shot that contains over 1,200 unique details to scrutinize, and I'm just gonna call this Disney 1, CinemaSins 0, and move on. And so, we're assholes. This ending is extremely f***ing touching. Might even make you cry. I'm just gonna remove 5 sins and be done with it.
Pick up those micro machines that are all over in there.
Holy hell, a film shout out to Micro Machines, whose commercials are on record as being 1/3 the inspiration for CinemaSins. 2 sins off. This movie is simply expert at taking us through the whole house and showing the props that Kevin will later use, like the mannequin parts. Damn it, I'm taking a sin off to celebrate this awesomeness. This is the 3rd time I've been tempted to remove a sin just for John Williams' amazing score. There are at least 3 themes that are all badass, and it's for a Christmas comedy. I'm giving in.
Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Pulverine.
Have you seen this man?
Really? Rolling up the sleeves? You need to seriously ease up on the bedazzling. They're jeans, not a chandelier.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Negasonic Teenage. What the? That's the coolest name ever! So what's it gonna be, huh? Long sullen silence? Or mean comment?
You got me in a box here.
And please don't make the super suit green.
Are you here for the turn down service?
Where's Francis?
You're about to be killed by a Zamboni!
It's just confusing. Is it sexist to hit you? Is it more sexist to not hit you? I mean, the line gets real blurry.
Ding ding. Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Am I crazy? Or is your hand really small?
It's a big house. It's funny that I only ever see two of you. Finish f***ing her the f*** up!
Language, please!
I'm expecting Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number. Go.